Were you ever fearful?
Go get me some knowledge.
I guess this is like honesty time because I
Yeah.
know a lot of kids watch this and pros, and there is some anxiety and some fear, and sometimes you just can't control the mental gymnastics that is your head. You can't get
Mhm.
right. Did you ever have a situation like that? And if you did, how did you work yourself out of it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only thing I really think of would be my first big league start. Everything was happening in fast motion. They were trying to double steal on me. It was in Cleveland, the mistake by the lake, that old Cleveland stadium, the
Mhm.
freezing cold. Um, but yeah, they were trying to double steal. They tried to steal home. I mean, so it was a rapid pace game to where I could settle in and feel like I could breathe. Other than that, um, again, I think the luxury of playing at a major university with a dynamic baseball program like the University of Texas. I mean, we had a saying at the University of Texas: "We don't rebuild there, we reload."
Oh
and, and,
yeah.
and that's and
Oh yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that deal. And
So wait,
so,
so you did you ever? I mean, have you? I mean, you were so. Maybe it was just because you were so diligent and so disciplined with your preparation
yeah.
that every time something came up, you were able to manage it, whether it would be before the game, during the game, or after the game.
So I pretty much knew every game, unless you're throwing a perfect game or a no hitter, you're going to have traffic on the bases, and they pay you to pitch and get out of those jams. That's what they paid us for anyway. And so I knew, like, again, waking up that morning, I'm pitching that evening, wherever it might be, whatever team it might be. I've already gone through my head. I've gone through the lineup, and I've also realized at some point I'm going to have second, third, and one out. And I'm going to have to get a punch out or a pop up and get out of this inning so the game doesn't get out of control. There are many World Series games where my manager slotted me. I pitched many, open the series. I've also pitched a number of game sevens. The important games are game three, and I pitched a lot of game threes. Because
To get back on track.
if you're dead in the water, like
Yeah.
it happened two or three times, we lost the first two games in that town's home city. Now we're at our place, but we're down two. You can't have a hiccup. You cannot lose game three, or the odds are saying that you're done if you lose a game three. So, but yeah, I mean, all that, like the reason why the game's fast paced, or I can look back to when being a dad. I get to be a dad and have all the information that I want to give the kids, but I want them to have fun, experience it. On the drive home, we can talk about a couple things. You can't really in a football game. When I was captain video. I really didn't even want to coach the kids. I want to do the video, do the band-aids, and wipe the tears. That was my job, and give them my best Newt Rockney speech when they were, feeling bad about it. And those 12-year-old kids, you got to understand, I got to remind my high school dads that were good high school players. I said, yeah, you were a good high school player, but you don't understand how fast this game is. I said, come down and stand on the sidelines with me at a college football game and watch how fast these guys close the gap. You're thinking that this cat coming around the end's getting 15 yards, and within a blink of an eye, he's getting 3 yards and he's getting absolute torched. There's three guys laying him out. You come down and stand in a batter's box when I'm throwing 95 from the stands, it looks real methodical. It looks real easy.
Looks easy. I'm on
Easy.
record for saying multiple times that I could get a hit at Fenway Park, which
Yeah.
will never happen. It could happen by luck. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. It's so fast paced, and like I said, I've had multiple times. I got hit on the shin on a ball that came back at me. I mean, I threw one in at 96, and the scout said on his gun it hit me at 132. You just have no reaction time. You're on one leg, 54 feet. You start at 60 feet. By the time I release the ball, I'm probably 54 feet from you. But
so
you regress back to the 12-year-old. When a 12-year-old is fielding a ground ball at third base and you're one of the dads sitting in your lawn chair right there, you got to understand your 12-year-old, it's fast paced for him. He's processing that ball off the bat. And so, again, all we do is we take a bunch of ground balls. We practice, like I said, we practice perfect. Nobody's going to remember what trophy they won to. I can't remember any trophies until I was 15 or 16 years old that I won. And hey, I want the kid to excel just as much as anybody else. I do it with the high school kids, the kids that get cut from the team. I tell them, get over here and get in the cage with my oldest son who teaches. He's going to get you right, and by next year, you're going to force that coach to keep you on that team. And that's part of the underdog, the underdog theory that
Well,
we talk
yeah,
about.
and and so, so you didn't coach your own kids. So you did not want to be the coach in the dugout or the sideline, regardless of what sport they're playing. You didn't want to be the one in charge. Why did you want to be the guy in the car or in the stands with the video camera? Why was that
Yeah.
important to you?
I just love videoing the kids, and then I would show them their base hit afterwards or in between games. Um, Again, I just enjoyed
Do you
talk
think
to
that
them.
you would, do you think, because I had the issue with my kids, like coaching them, I found was a little bit more challenging because I felt like they had kind of got to a point where they tuned me out, and it
Yeah,
was better to get a message from somebody else.
you're right. You're right. But then it's amazing 20 years down the road when you're doing your speeches and in a situation here while I'm talking to you, they'll be going, "Oh, Dad, I know that story." Like, "Oh, you were listening, were you?"
Yeah,
So
they use your one-liners, they
oh
use your
yeah,
stories, they
oh
use all
yeah,
your terms and all your catchphrases,
yeah.
and you sit there and go, "Holy crap!
They were actually
Those little suckers were listening."
they were. That's 100% right. Now I got the two. I'm Poppy Rocket. I got the two 7-year-old grand boys. They're
Yeah.
playing flag football, and I got a whistle that I do that they know. And then when I whistle, it doesn't matter where they're at on what field. They turn and look, and I give them thumbs up and say, "Let's, whatever I need to do right there to root them on." And we focus on the good things. We talk about as my boys got older, playing in high school and a high level college. Talked about the physical mistake. I want you not to be afraid to lay out for a ball. If you miss it and the guy gets a triple, I'd rather you trying to lay out and catch that ball for me than pull up and let it bounce in front of you. Now, if you don't get you don't get we always preach about how fortunate you are because I have a children's wing, and you're going to have kids at my children's wing that are missing a foot or a hand. They'll never have the opportunity to stand in the batter's box, take a full swing, hit a bump back to the pitcher, and just have chalk coming off his shoes on the way down the first baseline. And so I tell them, it takes zero talent to hustle, zero talent, and so if they physically, if it's a physical mistake's one thing, a mental mistake's totally different deal. And but yeah, we have fun with it. I really stay out of the boys' way, even though my youngest one is still playing professionally with the
Yeah.
Phillies. And if he asks me a pointed question, or if he should sit on a guy's pitch, or this or that, when he gets pointed and direct, I'll give him a direct answer
Yeah,
from
it
that
is
road.
interesting. It is what I've learned is like even if they're struggling, because I got 5 kids and I got 3 right now that are all at the college level: lacrosse, basketball, and football, all playing D1. And what I've learned is that, man, I gotta wait for them. I gotta wait for them to come to me. And when it's
Yeah,
pointed and direct, I know I could share some insight, and I'm
perfect,
not gonna. There's not gonna be any eye rolling. There's not
perfect.
gonna be the. I'll just look at my that. I wait for those moments.
Go get me some knowledge.